Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I want to begin today with a concept that sounds incredibly simple on the surface, but carries profound weight when we dig deeper. It's something we all do every day, whether we're aware of it or not. It's the voice inside our heads, the constant stream of thoughts, evaluations, and reflections that shapes the way we see ourselves, the world around us, and our role in it. I'm talking about self-talk, the conversations we have with ourselves. These conversations, though often silent, have the power to influence our emotions, actions, and ultimately our lives. In fact, I believe that when we change the way we talk to ourselves, when I talk to myself like this, the shift starts to happen. This is the shift that takes us from self-doubt to self-confidence, from stagnation to progress, and from despair to hope. Let me take you on a journey through how and why this shift happens and why it's critical for our personal and collective growth. The hidden power of self-talk. To understand the significance of self-talk, let's by acknowledging its pervasiveness. From the moment we wake up, our minds begin their daily monologue. Whether it's noticing the weather outside, thinking about the task ahead, or reflecting on our relationships and challenges, our brains are always at work narrating our experiences. But here's the thing, our internal monologue is not neutral. It's tinted with our beliefs, past experiences, and expectations. It's shaped by the stories we've been told about who we are and what we're capable of. And most importantly, it's heavily influenced by the choices we make about how we choose to think. Take a moment and reflect. What does your inner voice sound like? Is it kind and encouraging, or does it often default to criticism and self-doubt? For many people, that voice tends to be harsh. You're not good enough. You should have done better. You'll never succeed at this. These words may never leave our lips, but they echo in our minds, becoming a soundtrack to our lives that plays in the background, subtly but powerfully influencing our actions and decisions. But what if we could change that narrative? What if instead of undermining our potential, we could use self-talk to unlock it? When I talk to myself like this, when I choose words that empower rather than diminish, the shift begins. The nature of the shift. The shift I'm talking about is a transformation. It's a fundamental change in how we view ourselves and our possibilities. This shift is not magical or sudden, it's gradual, subtle, and often imperceptible at first. But over time, it has the power to completely reshape our lives. Let's break this down into concrete terms. Think about a time when you faced a significant challenge. Maybe it was a job interview, an exam, a personal crisis, or a difficult conversation. In moments like these, the way we talk to ourselves can either lift us up or pull us down. Imagine going into that situation thinking, I'm not prepared for this or I'm going to fail. That mindset primes you for anxiety, fear, and failure because your brain is already convinced that the outcome will be negative. Your self-talk creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now imagine the same scenario, but with different self-talk. You say to yourself, I've prepared as much as I can, or I'm capable of handling whatever comes my way. This isn't delusional optimism, and it's realistic and pampering thinking. When you approach challenges with this mindset, your brain is primed for problem solving, resilience, and success. This is the shift I'm talking about, the shift from limitation to possibility. And it all starts with how we choose to speak to ourselves. The science of self-talk and rewiring the brain. Now you might be thinking, isn't this just about positive thinking? Does it really make a difference? The answer is yes, and there's science to back it up. Our brains are not static. They are dynamic, constantly changing based on our experiences, thoughts, and actions. This concept is known as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. And one of the most powerful ways we can influence this process is through our thoughts. When we engage in negative self-talk, we strengthen neural pathways that support stress, fear, and limitation. Each time we tell ourselves, I can't do this, we reinforce that belief in our brain, making it harder to break free from it. Over time, these pathways become the default setting for our thoughts, and we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of negativity. But this is the crucial part, we can change those pathways. When we practice positive, empowering self-talk, we are literally rewiring our brains. We're forming new pathways that support confidence, resilience, and growth. This is not just about thinking happy thoughts, it's about actively choosing to create a mental environment that supports our best self. Think of it like building a muscle. Just as lifting weights strengthens our physical muscles, practicing positive self-talk strengthens the neural pathways that lead to success and well-being. It takes time and effort, but with consistent practice, those new pathways become stronger, and the old negative ones begin to fade away. So when I talk to myself like this, when I choose words that encourage growth, resilience, and possibility, the shift is not just emotional, it's neurological. The emotional shift from fear to empowerment. Let's talk about the emotional aspect of this shift. Self-talk is deeply tied to our emotions. When we speak negatively to ourselves, we create feelings of fear, anxiety, and inadequacy. These emotions in turn affect our behavior. When we feel afraid or inadequate, we're less likely to take risks, try new things, or push ourselves out of our comfort zones. We play it safe, stick to what we know, and limit our potential. But when we shift our self-talk, we also shift our emotional state. Positive self-talk creates feelings of empowerment, confidence, and motivation. These emotions fuel action. When we feel empowered, we're more likely to take on challenges, embrace uncertainty, and persist in the face of obstacles. This emotional shift is crucial because our emotions drive our behavior. We don't act based on logic alone, we act based on how we feel. If we feel confident and capable, we're more likely to pursue our goals with determination and enthusiasm. If we feel fearful and inadequate, we're more likely to give up before we even start. Think of it like a feedback loop. Positive self-talk leads to positive emotions, which lead to positive actions, which then reinforce the positive self-talk. It's a cycle of empowerment that feeds itself. Conversely, negative self-talk leads to negative emotions, which lead to avoidance or procrastination, which then reinforce the negative self-talk. So when I talk to myself like this, when I choose words that create empowerment rather than fear, the shift happens on an emotional level. And that emotional shift is the key to unlocking my potential. Self-talk is a daily practice. At this point, you might be wondering, how do I actually make this shift in my daily life? The answer is simple but not easy: self-awareness and consistency. First, we need to become aware of our self-talk. This requires mindfulness, paying attention to the thoughts that run through our minds throughout the day. Often, we don't even realize how negative our self-talk is because it's become so habitual. But once we start paying attention, we can begin to catch those negative thoughts as they arise. When we notice a negative thought, we have a choice. We can either let it pass without judgment or we can challenge it. We can ask ourselves, is this thought really true? Is it helpful? Does it move me closer to my goals or farther away? Once we've identified a negative thought, we can replace it with a more empowering one. This doesn't mean we ignore reality or pretend everything is perfect. It means we choose a perspective that supports growth and possibility. Instead of saying, I can't do this, we say, I'm learning how to do this. Instead of I'm not good enough, we say, I'm growing and improving every day. This process of shifting our self-talk is not something we do once and forget about. It's a daily practice like brushing our teeth or exercising. It requires consistency and patience. The more we practice, the easier it becomes, and eventually it becomes our new default. When I talk to myself like this with consistency, patience, and intention, the shift becomes part of my daily life. The collective impact of self-talk. Now let's zoom out and think about the broader implications of this shift. Imagine a world where everyone practiced positive self-talk. A world where individuals believe in their potential, embraces the support of one another in their growth. What kind of world would that be? I believe it would be a world of greater innovation, creativity, and collaboration. When we talk to ourselves with kindness and encouragement, we're more likely to extend that same kindness and encouragement to others. We become more compassionate, more understanding, and more willing to help others succeed. This is the ripple effect of the shift. When I talk to myself like this, it doesn't just benefit me, it benefits everyone around me. My positive energy influences my relationships, my work, and my community. I become a thank you.